Hello, my name is Nicole Franch, and this is my research presentation for my GS320 module at the University of Pretoria. This is just an extension of my long research assignment in which we'll be discussing the topic, title, research question, my strands, as well as main arguments and findings. To begin, I will discuss my topic, which is pandemics in global history, disease, health, and society. The reason why I chose this topic is because I found that pandemics to be very relevant in today's society due to the fact that we are still in a post-COVID-19 era, and I wanted to link this to global history since this is a global history module. Moving on to my title, it is the importance of global health organizations during pandemics in global history, shifts in health approaches from the Spanish influenza to COVID-19. The reason for this title is because throughout my research process, I found that there is somewhat of an invisible strain between the Spanish influenza and COVID-19. And this invisible strain came across as sort of like linkages between the two as well as similarities between the two. And I wanted to look at that in terms of global health organizations and in terms of global history and see if I could find linkages between the two. Moving on to my research question, in which I look at if there has been a shift in global health organizations, or if there has been a shift in how global health organizations handle pandemics since 1918, and if so, what has changed and why are the global health organizations so important during pandemics? Ultimately here I looked at a simple question of, does one necessitate the other? As in, do pandemics necessitate global health organizations? And if there is a link, why is it important for this to happen in terms of global health on a global scale? Moving on to my stance, which is that I have actually found huge evidence, or significant evidence, of a link between global pandemics and World Health Organizations, and I've also found a shift in how global health organizations are run and managed since 1918 and through to 2020. This was found through my methodology, which focused a lot on comparative study, and within my historiography, my aim was to look at different sources and compare different sources and also find linkages and pinpoint direct linkages between global pandemics and World Health Organizations. And an example of this, which I will discuss further in my long research assignment, is that after the Spanish influenza of 1918, the global health organizations or government at the time saw for the first time that viral infections like flu or influenza could be dangerous on a global scale. And this just perspective change alone changed how we completely handle pandemics. And since we had another one in COVID-19, we see remnants of that change from 1918 through to 2020. My main argument, or one of the bases of my main argument, is ultimately time. From 1918, from the start of the Spanish influenza to the start of COVID-19 of 2020, in between we have over a century, we have 102 years, and in this time change is inevitable, but what I focused on here was just how to look or how to understand the change, how to place the change. How to place the change in terms of globalization and influence of these pandemics. Through that, I found linkages, influence, and a really, really big importance on globalization in terms that there was linkage due to unification and connectivity and global cooperation that was needed due to the influence of pandemics and how they have these long-term consequences. Because of this, I was a big fan of Emmanuel Leroy Ladari's quote, "The unification of the globe," which underscores this disease as a significant unifying force. And it made me rethink my research, because I then saw disease not only as this transnational phenomenon or historical phenomenon, but also as something that unifies the globe, because it simply does not, or disease simply does not respect borders. And therefore we have to look at, when we study pandemics and its influence, we have to look at it from a globalization point of view. Through this, I have made findings in the formation of WHO, transnational history, as well as COVID-19, in which I found and understood the formation of WHO from 1945 to 1948, as well as their achievements. I understood interconnectedness in terms of globalization, and I also understood and tried to look at COVID-19 and its effect on our current healthcare systems after 2020. In conclusion, I a significant connection between global pandemics and World Health Organizations. And this connection is ultimately led through globalization and global cooperation, or the need for global cooperation, and therefore the need for change and the shifting in these World Health Organizations, which ultimately have the goal of achieving world health. Thank you.